My name is Rebecca Walsh. I'm 31 years old. 4 months ago, I sat in my parents' kitchen while they explained why they needed to borrow money from me. My sister's startup was struggling, they said. She just needed a little help to get through a rough patch. Family helps family. I had $47 in my checking account. My husband had been dead for 8 months. I was working double shifts at the hospital just to cover rent. I told them I didn't have anything to give. My mother looked at me with genuine confusion and said, "Rebecca, don't be selfish. We know you got Daniel's life insurance. $500,000. Your sister needs $100,000 to save her business. It's not like you're doing anything important with it." I stared at her. "I never received any life insurance money." My father shifted uncomfortably. My mother's face went blank for just a second before she recovered. "Well, maybe it's still being processed. When it comes through, we expect you to help." But I knew. In that moment, I knew exactly where that money had gone. What they didn't know was that 3 days later, I would receive a phone call from an IRS agent named Michelle Torres. And 6 weeks after that, when my parents hosted their annual 4th of July barbecue with 60 guests, Agent Torres would walk into their backyard with a very different kind of fireworks. Before I tell you what happened that day, please like and subscribe, but only if you genuinely enjoy this story. Drop a comment. Where are you watching from and what time is it? I love connecting with you all. Now, let me take you back to where this really started. Growing up in Sacramento, I learned early that my sister Vanessa was the sun, and I was a planet expected to orbit around her. My family was simple. My father managed a regional bank. My mother ran a small boutique. Vanessa was 4 years younger and destined for greatness, and I was the responsible one who didn't require attention. Vanessa got dreams. I got duties. When I was 16, I won a scholarship to a prestigious summer medical program at UC Davis. Full ride, incredible opportunity. I showed my parents the acceptance letter, already imagining how proud they'd be. My mother glanced at it. "That's nice, honey. But Vanessa's cheer competition is that same week in Los Angeles. We'll need you to stay home and watch the house." Vanessa was 12. Her cheer competition was recreational league. My program could have changed my future. My father added, "Don't be difficult, Rebecca. Your sister needs our support." I stayed home. Vanessa got 4th place and a participation trophy. I got to water the plants. I told myself it was fine. I'd have other opportunities. At 22, I graduated from nursing school with honors. I'd worked my way through college, taking night shifts as a CNA, living with 3 roommates in a terrible apartment. No debt, no help, just determination. My parents came to graduation, but left early. Vanessa had a lunch date with her sorority sisters that my mother had promised to pay for. They gave me a card with $20 inside. "For something nice," my mother said. 3 years earlier, when Vanessa graduated high school, barely with a 2.3 GPA, they threw her a party that cost $8,000. A DJ, catered food, a custom cake that looked like a college acceptance letter, even though she'd been rejected from every school she'd applied to, except the local community college. I told myself it made sense. High school graduation was a bigger milestone than college. Somehow. Last year, I met Daniel at the hospital. He was an EMT, kind and funny and real in a way I'd never experienced. We got married 6 months later. Small ceremony, just us and a few friends. My parents didn't come. Vanessa's apartment flooded that weekend, and they needed to help her deal with the insurance claim. Daniel thought I was crazy for accepting that. "They blew off your wedding for a flooded apartment?" "It's just who they are," I said. "I'm used to it." "You shouldn't have to be used to it," he said. We built a life together, small but happy. He worked rotating shifts. I worked at the hospital. We saved for a house. He had a life insurance policy through work, $500,000. We joked about it. "If I die, you're set," he'd say. "Promise me you'll do something amazing." "You're not going to die," I always replied. We're going to grow old and argue about what to watch on TV for 50 years. But 9 months ago, Daniel responded to a call. Multi-car accident on I-5. He was helping extract a victim when a drunk driver plowed into the scene. He died instantly. 28 years old. The funeral was a blur. I couldn't eat, couldn't sleep, couldn't think. My parents came, stayed for an hour, left early because Vanessa had a crisis. Her boyfriend had broken up with her. At the funeral, my mother said, "At least you're young. You can start over." As if Daniel was a job I'd quit, a car I'd traded in. I was drowning, working double shifts because sitting at home meant being alone with the silence. Our apartment still smelled like his cologne. His coffee mug was still in the dishwasher. 3 weeks after the funeral, my father called. "Rebecca, we need to talk about Daniel's life insurance." I'd been avoiding thinking about it. The money felt wrong, like accepting payment for losing him. "The policy had me as the beneficiary," I said, "but I haven't done anything with it yet." "Well, we need to discuss it. Can you come over this weekend?" I should have known. I should have seen it coming. But I was so tired, so broken that I just agreed. That Saturday I drove to their house. Vanessa was there, which surprised me. She'd barely spoken to me since Daniel died. One text that said, "Sorry for your loss." My mother sat me down at the kitchen table. "Rebecca, we know you received Daniel's life insurance, $500,000. I nodded slowly. "The paperwork is being processed. I should receive it in a few weeks." "We think you should use it wisely," my father said. Here it comes, I thought. Financial advice, lectures about investing. But then my mother said, "Vanessa has an incredible opportunity. She's launching a startup, organic skincare products. She's already developed the formulas, found suppliers, everything. She just needs capital to actually manufacture and market the products." I looked at Vanessa. She wouldn't meet my eyes. "We think you should invest in her business," my mother continued. "Family supporting family. Daniel would want you to do something meaningful with the money, wouldn't he?" My throat closed. "You want me to give Vanessa my husband's life insurance money?" "Not give," my father corrected. "Invest. You'd be a partner. When the business takes off, you'd profit." "How much?" I whispered. $100,000 to start," Vanessa finally spoke. "Maybe more later, depending on growth." I stood up. "No." My mother's face hardened. "Rebecca, don't be selfish." Selfish? I couldn't believe what I was hearing. "My husband died 4 months ago. That money is all I have left of—" "Of what?" my mother interrupted. "He's gone. The money won't bring him back. But it could change Vanessa's life. Build something real. Don't you want to help your sister?" I left. Drove home crying so hard I had to pull over twice. But I thought that was the end of it. I thought I'd said no and they'd accepted it. I was wrong. 6 weeks later, the insurance company sent me a letter. The claim had already been processed and paid out. On February 3rd, $500,000 transferred via wire to the account on file. I called them immediately. "I never received any money." The representative pulled up my file. "According to our records, the funds were transferred to the account ending in 7743. That wasn't my account number. Can you tell me whose account that is?" "I'm sorry, ma'am. I can only confirm that the transfer was completed to the account designated by the beneficiary." But I was the beneficiary. I never designated any account. I hung up and called my bank. I had them pull every transaction, every account associated with my name. Nothing. No $500,000, no wire transfer, nothing. That's when I knew. I drove to my parents' house, didn't call ahead, just showed up. My father answered the door. "Rebecca, this isn't a good time." "Where's the money?" I said. He paled. "What money?" "Daniel's life insurance. $500,000. The insurance company says it was paid out in February to an account ending in 7743. That's not my account. My mother appeared behind him. Rebecca, calm down. Where is it? My voice was shaking. Where is my husband's life insurance money? They looked at each other, some silent conversation passing between them. Then my father said, "We can explain." They let me in, sat me down, and told me the truth. They'd forged my signature, had my father, with his bank connections, create an account in my name but with their access, intercepted the insurance paperwork, changed the account information, and transferred the money the moment it arrived. All $500,000 was gone. $100,000 to Vanessa's startup, $150,000 to pay off my parents' second mortgage, $75,000 for Vanessa's new condo down payment. The rest scattered across debts and investments. I couldn't breathe. You stole from me. We borrowed, my mother corrected. We'll pay you back. You forged legal documents. You stole my dead husband's life insurance money. Don't be dramatic, my mother snapped. You weren't doing anything with it anyway. You were just letting it sit there while Vanessa had a real opportunity. We made a business decision. It wasn't your decision to make, I was screaming now. That money was mine. Daniel worked for that. He died. My father stood up. Rebecca, you need to leave. We can discuss this when you're calmer. I left. But I wasn't done. I went home and called a lawyer, explained everything. He listened carefully. This is fraud, he said. Document forgery, wire fraud, theft. You could press criminal charges. I want my money back. Then we sue, civil case. But Rebecca, I have to tell you, even if you win, if they've already spent the money, collection can take years. You might never see most of it. I hung up feeling hopeless. They'd stolen everything and would probably get away with it. But then my phone rang. Unknown number. Ms. Walsh? This is Special Agent Michelle Torres with the Internal Revenue Service, Criminal Investigation Division. My heart stopped. The IRS? Yes, ma'am. We've been conducting a routine audit of your father's financial records related to his employment at Sacramento Regional Bank. Some irregularities appeared, including a large wire transfer in February from an insurance company to an account under your name, but the tax reporting doesn't match standard procedures. She paused. Ms. Walsh, did you receive $500,000 in life insurance proceeds in February? I started crying. No, I didn't. Can you tell me what happened? I told her everything. The whole story spilled out. She listened without interrupting. When I finished, there was a long silence. Then she said, Ms. Walsh, what your parents did constitutes multiple federal crimes: wire fraud, forgery, and because your father used his position at the bank to facilitate this, bank fraud. The IRS Criminal Investigation Division works closely with the FBI on these cases. What does that mean? It means I'm opening an investigation, and I'm going to need you to provide documentation, the insurance paperwork, any communications with your parents, bank statements, everything. Over the next 6 weeks, Agent Torres built a case. She subpoenaed records from the insurance company, from my father's bank, from Vanessa's business accounts. She interviewed me 3 times, recorded everything. The evidence was overwhelming. My father had used bank systems to create a fraudulent account. My mother had forged my signature on multiple documents. They'd hidden the money through various transactions to avoid triggering automatic fraud alerts. And because my father had used his position at the bank to facilitate the crime, the FBI got involved too. We're ready to move forward, Agent Torres told me. But I want to give you a choice. We can handle this quietly, arrest them, process them through the system, prosecute. Or, she paused, your parents are hosting a large barbecue on July 4th. I saw it on your mother's Facebook. 60+ guests, a lot of witnesses. If you want, we can serve the warrant there. Public. Documented. Everyone they know watching. I thought about all those years of being invisible. All those times they chose Vanessa. The funeral they left early. My wedding they skipped. The way my mother called me selfish for not wanting to give up my dead husband's life insurance. I want it public, I said. July 4th was bright and hot. My parents' backyard was full of people. Neighbors, co-workers, extended family, Vanessa's friends. A massive barbecue with catered food, a bartender, a banner that said, Walsh Family 4th of July Fest. I arrived at 2 p.m. My mother looked shocked to see me. Rebecca, what are you doing here? It's a family party, I said. I'm family, aren't I? She recovered quickly. Of course. Well, make yourself useful. The drinks need restocking. Same old pattern, but I just smiled. Sure, Mom. I restocked drinks, helped with food, stayed quiet, waiting. At 4 p.m., 3 black SUVs pulled up to the house. Agent Torres stepped out, along with 2 FBI agents and 4 other federal investigators. The backyard went quiet as they walked through the side gate. Agent Torres approached my father directly. Mr. William Walsh? My father went white. Yes? I'm Special Agent Michelle Torres, IRS Criminal Investigation. This is Special Agent Robert Kim, FBI. We have a warrant for your arrest. Someone dropped a plate. The crash was deafening in the sudden silence. You're being charged with wire fraud, bank fraud, identity theft, and forgery related to the misappropriation of $500,000 in life insurance funds belonging to Rebecca Walsh. 60 people watched as they read him his rights. My mother started crying. This is ridiculous! We didn't… Mrs. Patricia Walsh, another agent interrupted. You're also under arrest for conspiracy to commit wire fraud, forgery, and identity theft. They handcuffed both of my parents in front of everyone. Vanessa ran over. What's happening? Mom? Dad? Agent Torres turned to her. Ms. Vanessa Walsh, you're not being arrested today, but you are a material witness. The $100,000 invested in your startup, Glow Natural Skincare, came from fraudulently obtained funds. We'll need you to come in for questioning, and you'll likely need to return those funds as part of restitution. Vanessa's face crumpled. I didn't know. I thought it was their money. Agent Torres gave her a card. Call this number tomorrow. We'll discuss your options. Before they led my parents away, Agent Torres turned to address everyone in the backyard. For anyone wondering, Mr. and Mrs. Walsh stole $500,000 in life insurance money from their daughter Rebecca following the death of her husband. They forged documents, created fraudulent bank accounts, and used their positions of trust to commit federal crimes. The investigation is ongoing. She looked at me. Ms. Walsh, we'll be in touch about restitution proceedings. Then they left. 3 SUVs, my parents in custody, 60 stunned witnesses. The silence broke. Everyone started talking at once. People staring at me, Vanessa sobbing. My uncle, my father's brother, walked over. Rebecca, I had no idea. Your husband died? They took his insurance money? I nodded. Jesus Christ, he muttered. I knew they favored Vanessa, but this… He put his hand on my shoulder. I'm sorry. I should have paid more attention. Others came forward, neighbors who'd watched me grow up, co-workers of my father who were horrified, even some of Vanessa's friends who approached quietly. We saw how they treated you, one said. We thought it was weird, but we didn't know it was this bad. The validation was overwhelming. All these witnesses, all these people who'd seen the favoritism, the neglect, the way I was always pushed aside. I left the party at 6 p.m., drove home in a daze. My phone rang constantly for days. Reporters, relatives, people from my past. I ignored most of them, But Agent Torres called a week later with an update. "Your parents are cooperating," she said. "Your father's facing 10 to 15 years, your mother 8 to 12. They're trying to negotiate a plea deal. As part of that, they've agreed to full restitution." "How much can they actually pay back?" "We've frozen all their assets. The house, the retirement accounts, the boutique inventory. Liquidating everything, we estimate we can recover about $380,000. Vanessa's company only has $12,000 left. The rest was spent on inventory and marketing. We're working to recover what we can. Not the full $500,000, but something." "There's more," Agent Torres continued. "The bank is settling a civil suit. Because your father used his position to facilitate the fraud, they're liable. They're offering you $200,000 to avoid a larger lawsuit." I did the math. $380,000 from my parents' assets, $200,000 from the bank. I'd get back more than the original amount. "What about my parents?" "They'll likely serve 5 to 7 years each with the plea deal. Vanessa won't be charged. We determined she genuinely didn't know the source of the funds, though she has to return what's left." Agent Torres paused. "Rebecca, off the record? I'm glad you let me do this publicly. Some people never face consequences for what they do to their children. Your parents needed to be held accountable." "Thank you," I whispered, "for believing me." "Always," she said. "That was 4 months ago. My parents are currently in federal prison awaiting sentencing. Vanessa's business collapsed. Turned out organic skincare is hard to sell when your funding comes from stealing your sister's dead husband's insurance money. She moved to Portland, and we haven't spoken. The money has been returned. All of it. I've set up a foundation in Daniel's name that provides financial support to widows and widowers of first responders. The first grants go out next month. I'm back in therapy, actually processing Daniel's death instead of drowning in betrayal. Some days are harder than others. I still wake up reaching for him. I still cry in the grocery store when I see his favorite cereal. But I'm not carrying my parents' dysfunction anymore. People ask if I'll forgive them, if I'll visit them in prison, if family isn't worth preserving. And here's what I've learned. Forgiveness is personal. It's something I might do for myself someday, to release the weight. But forgiveness doesn't mean reconciliation. It doesn't mean pretending they didn't do what they did. It doesn't mean giving them access to my life again. They stole from me when I was at my lowest. They took the only thing I had left of the man I loved and spent it on themselves without a second thought. That's not a mistake. That's not a misunderstanding. That's who they are. And I deserve better than people who would do that. Agent Torres became an unexpected friend. She checks in every few weeks, sends me articles about criminal justice reform, invited me to her daughter's graduation. She saw me when I was invisible to everyone else. She believed me when my own family was gaslighting me. That's what real family looks like. Not blood, not obligation, but people who show up when it matters. If you're reading this and someone has stolen from you, money, credit, opportunities, dignity, please know that you have options. Document everything. Seek legal help. Don't let anyone convince you that theft is acceptable because it's family. Blood doesn't give anyone the right to abuse you, and sometimes the best thing you can do is walk away and build something better with people who actually deserve you. Daniel would be proud of the foundation. He'd love Agent Torres. He'd tell me I did the right thing. And for the first time since he died, I'm starting to believe him. Thank you for reading my story. If it resonated with you, please like and subscribe. Drop a comment. Have you ever had family betray your trust? How did you find the strength to move forward? I'd love to hear from you. You're stronger than you know, and you deserve people who see that.